Hey there, it's Marley. Welcome to today's video. As you can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about my favorite TV shows that I watched this year in 2023 and my least favorite. Oh, also I am sick while filming this, so apologies in advance if you can tell that I'm really stuffed up. Last week I posted a video like this for my favorite and least favorite movies, so be sure to check that out if you want some movie recommendations. But I actually am more of a TV show girl than a movie girl. Obviously, at the end of the day, I'm more of a book girl, but I do really love TV shows. So I have a list here of a couple of the worst TV shows that I watched this year and a way more TV shows that I actually liked. I'm not going to talk about any of the TV shows that were just middle tier for me, middle of the road. That's not what we're here for. We're here to hate and we're here to really fangirl about the best ones. And as I said in my last video, I used to make this type of content reviewing movies and TV shows a lot more on my channel before, but I stopped this year in 2023, but I still wanted to do a little bit of a wrap up at the end of the year of what I've been watching. So that's why I'm doing the best and worst for both movies and TV. So yeah, let's just get into it. I actually only have 3 TV shows here for the worst. So let's just get those out of the way. And some of these I watched a while ago, you know, back at the beginning of the year. So I might not have a lot to say about some of them if I watched them a super long time ago, and we'll just kind of skip past those quick. But anyways, one of the worst TV shows I watched this year would probably be Titans season 3. This is not that popular of a show, so you might not have heard of it, but it's like a superhero show for DC. There's characters like Robin, Starfire. Like I'm not a comic book person, but I do overall like this show. Like the first 2 seasons I did. Season 3 was really just flopping for me with the writing. I think a lot of the writers changed from the first couple seasons. Basically how I would describe this show is like just watching hot people do things, because the cast is beautiful, stunning, and I like that. I do appreciate a hot, stunning cast. That's what I want to see when I turn on the TV. But the writing was just not really giving. They also go to like Gotham in this season. That's like where Batman is, right? And I just feel like it was focused so much on like Batman stuff. Like Bruce Wayne was in this season a lot more. Like I don't want to see him. Like this is Titans. This is not Batman. So it just disappointed me a little bit. And I am on season 4 right now. It's a little bit of the same vibe, but I'm hoping season 4 will be better by the time we get to the end. Oh, I think in season 3, they also got rid of some of my favorite characters, whether it was through death or other ways, which was also very upsetting for me. And I think you really feel the absence of those characters. Another show I was really disappointed with was Pieces of Her on Netflix as well. This is an adaptation of the book by Karen Slaughter. So a thriller book that I read and I quite liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. This TV show adaptation was so bad compared to that. For the plot, we're following a mother-daughter, and the daughter is older, like she's an adult. She's living with the mom while she kind of figures out her life. And then this one day, this act of violence happens, and the mom kind of like behaves in a way the daughter was just not expecting. And she realizes she doesn't really know who her mom really is, and this violent, mysterious past that the mom has. So in the book, anyways, we're having scenes from the daughter as she investigates kind of what's going on, and then we're also getting flashbacks to the mom's point of view when she was a teenager or a young adult. I forget how old she was, but we're seeing like what went on in this mysterious past. In this show, they casted, what is her name? Toni Collette, who obviously is an amazing actress, but they had her play the mom in present day. So I think because they did that, instead of having the mom's scenes mostly be flashbacks, they had the mom be this huge part in present day, which was different than the books. In the books, we got so much more flashbacks, and that was like the most interesting part of the story in book and TV. But in the TV, because they had Toni Collette in present day, I think they were like, we're not going to show many of these flashbacks with the younger actress. So we barely got to really delve into those flashback scenes and like the main plot. So that was just really not great. I think they also changed things a bit so that like the show could maybe like go on to have more seasons. But I feel like when you adapt like a single book, just make it 1 season. Like don't try and keep adding to it. Those are the main things that disappointed me from what I remember. But yeah, I was just not a fan. The last TV show I had for my worst list was just Riverdale. as everyone knows, the show Riverdale, it came to an end this year and I've been watching the whole time. I know a lot of people gave up back in season 3 or 4 or whatever. I have been watching the whole time. I mean, it's cringy. It's not the best, but it's like entertaining enough and I'm invested, you know. I kept watching. But it's season 7 or whatever the last one was, they get stuck in the past, like in the 50s or whatever, and I just was not a fan of that. It felt like all these seasons we've had of stories were just pointless because now we were like starting over in the final season. Sorry if that's a spoiler. I just was not a fan of that decision. And then by the end and how they wrapped it up, like I was crying because at the end of the day, I was invested in these people and seeing how they all ended and how their stories ended made me emotional, but I wasn't really pleased with it. And I haven't really been impressed with this show for any length of time. I don't know if I was ever really that impressed with this show, but yeah. Okay, let's just move on to my best shows now. First up, we have Good Trouble season 4. I know season 5 has come out now, but I haven't seen that yet. It probably will be on my best list again though, because this show just kills it. And I talked about this a lot before when I used to do my TV reviews, but it's a spinoff of The Fosters following Callie and Mariana in LA and then their roommates that they live with. And there's just so much juicy drama. But then it also tackles such like real, like controversial topics and stuff, just like The Fosters did. So I just loved it. I just loved it. Okay, moving on. Perfect Match. Wow, that's a throwback. Was that this year? Okay, well, I really loved watching Perfect Match on Netflix. It was like a crossover between Love is Blind. There are other shows like Hot to Handle, stuff like that. The only shows I watched of those was Love is Blind and The Mole. There were a couple people from The Mole. I don't watch Too Hot to Handle or whatever other shows were on there, but I still had a great time seeing so many, you know, people that I've seen on other shows crossing over with these other people. It's this dating show, but it's like a competition. I think it's similar to Love Island as well, which again, I don't watch. I don't watch a lot of these shows. So take it from me, the fact that I actually like this one shows how entertaining it was. Such a fun time. Love the drama. Francesca, it was a lot. Okay. Oh, Normal People. See, I haven't reviewed this list in a while, but yeah, Normal People, I really enjoyed that show. This is again a book adaptation. You notice that happens a lot for me. I watch a lot of book adaptations, obviously, but this is about two people who their journey and their relationship kind of starts in high school, where they're from two very different friend groups. Like Marianne, is it Marianne or... Yeah, you know, she's made fun of a lot in high school, doesn't fit in, but she's very smart. And then Connell, I think, is a guy. He is in with cool guys, but he is very like shy and like anxious. And they start this like secret relationship in high school, and then they end up going to college together. And it's this very like on again, off again, angsty like friendship and romance. I really liked the book, and I also really liked the show. I think it's great to watch this romance unfold on screen because these two actors had so much chemistry, and I definitely got a crush on the main guy, so that's always fun. Yeah, even if you haven't read the book, like, check it out. Another show I really loved was Outer Banks season 3. Just such a entertaining teen show that actually has so much action. Okay, so like you could even get your boyfriends to watch with you, you know. I think they would probably like it because there's violence, there's guns, there's punching. Like, so the original premise is like we're following these people who live in like the Outer Banks. They are trying to, I think, find this gold, or they're following this, like, they're treasure hunting. And then there's romance, there's friendship, as I said, action, blah blah blah. Season 3, I was just very entertained by it. I was very emotional by the end, like crying. As I said, with the romance, I actually really like the ships and the couples in this show. Just very well done. Okay, I have Survivor on this list. So this is a show I've been watching since I was a kid. I think there's 2 seasons per year, right? So I think when I put this on my list, I was more referencing the season from earlier this year that aired in the winter. We had some really great characters and a really great like 3-person alliance, the Three Stooges or whatever, with Carolyn, Jam Jam, and Carson. I was just so invested in those people and in that season. It's currently airing right now too. This season has had good moments, but I'm kind of getting a little bit more disappointed with it. But I would always recommend Survivor, and you can look up lists of like the best seasons that people recommend you watch, because there's definitely ones that are better than others, but I still just always have a good time watching it. Then we have another book adaptation, and that's Daisy Jones and the Six. This is based off the book by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and it was on Amazon Prime. So great, but I will say I read this book 3 or 4 years ago, so it wasn't super fresh in my mind, and that's how I keep recommending people go into book adaptations, because you forget things, or like you're not directly comparing, and so you're not as disappointed. So I do know some people were disappointed in this adaptation. Not me. Like, I was very impressed with it because, again, I didn't remember everything. I didn't remember everything about the ending, so my mind was like blown. I was so emotional. But basically we're following this fictional band, and it starts out where we're following this one girl, Daisy, who starts out as like a single musician, and then this band called the Six, and then we see how they come together to collaborate and create this like best album ever. It's taking place in like the 70s, and it follows like the forbidden romance between a couple of the members. It deals a lot with like addiction, alcohol, drug addiction, and it has great music. Like, I think they were one of my top Spotify artists this year or something, because I was listening to that music a lot. I'm sure you guys have heard of this, and if you haven't gotten to it yet, I would recommend it, but I also would really recommend the book. So one or the other. Then we have Big Brother Canada. So if you don't know, well, you probably do. Big Brother is this competition show where they're all in a house, and it's like a social and physical competition. I really love the Big Brother Canada version more than the US, which is the other version that I watch. While I wasn't ultimately super satisfied with who ended up winning this season, it was just so entertaining. I get so into it, and it's so fun to, you know, talk about with my friends as we all watch it. Highly recommend, especially if you live in Canada. Maybe you'll know someone that was on it. That's always fun. But yeah. Okay, moving on to another reality show. Okay, I do watch a few reality shows. Queer Eye season 7. I mean, I can't remember like specific things from this season necessarily, but I just always love the Queer Eye seasons. So obviously these 5 queer people going around and helping people improve their lives in so many different ways, whether it's physically or mentally, or improving their space, whatever it is. And I love how it's not just helping straight guys. Like, I think the original show was Queer Eye for the straight guy. Like, they help a variety of people who really need it and deserve it, and then they're also so fun. They're so funny, and so like, it's just so uplifting every time. And I'm so sad that Bobby is apparently leaving the show. It won't quite be the same moving forward, but I really just love that show. I should have gave a disclaimer at the beginning of this video before we get into the rest of my faves. Just know I am a sucker for a teen drama show. And if that's not your taste in shows, maybe you want to click off this video now. But I think the rest of these are pretty much all like teen drama shows that I absolutely loved this year. Starting with XO Kitty. Now, this is a spinoff from The Summer I Turned... No. To All the Boys I Loved Before, which of course those were books, and then they became movies. Super cute, love them. So this was never a book series, but we're following the youngest sister from To All the Boys I Loved Before, Kitty, and she ends up going to the school in Korea because that's where her mom went to school, and she wants to connect more with her. Also because her boyfriend goes to school there, so she's having this long distance relationship with him. So first of all, really fun setting, going to a boarding school in Korea, and then all this like teenage romantic drama. It's like a love triangle, square, whatever a bigger one than that would be, pentagon. Like, Kitty ends up having, you know, her original boyfriend, but then they end up having drama. Then she gets like multiple other love interests. Mino, who's like a favorite character. Like, there's gonna be people for you to crush on. There's gonna be ships for you to ship. There's gonna be, of course, some cringy moments, but I just had such a fun time with this. And this year I really needed a lot of fun distractions like this. If you need one of those, check this out. It's so fun, especially if you're like into like Korean culture. I'm not necessarily, but you might find this extra entertaining. Then we have Never Have I Ever, the final season of this like rom-com show. Of course, we're following Devi, who is kind of balancing being Indian American, her romances that she has, and her friendship. And she is just, everyone talks about how she's such a flawed character, but also in such a like real way. Like, it's been so fun watching her whole journey throughout all of the seasons and the growth that she's had. You know, she's messed up a lot, but yeah, this was a, you know, a great final season. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed who she ended up with. Just really recommend, again, for like a fun time. Then we have The Summer I Turned Pretty season 2. Do I think this was as good as the first season? I'm gonna say no. Just with the storytelling, like it felt like we were just staying in the same place for like so long. Like the whole season happened over like a couple days, I'm pretty sure. But I just got so into this show. Okay, and I'm gonna say right now I'm Team Jeremiah. But if you don't know, it's about this girl who always spends her summers at this like lake house with her family and then this other family that has 2 boys. And she has always grown up having a crush on this one boy. In this particular summer, in the first season, she, you know, kind of glows up. Like she's 16, she's getting hot, and she starts to have some romantic entanglements with the 2 brothers that she's grown up with. And there's a huge debate, you know, Team Conrad, Team Jeremiah. I'm very strongly Team Jeremiah. Before, like in season 1, I was in the middle, but in season 2, I just got really passionate about it. So like that was something that was entertaining about watching this season. By the end, like I just think those 2 have the most chemistry. Like the girl who plays Belly and then the guy who plays Jeremiah, I think they have way more chemistry. I don't like Conrad like at all. My TikTok feed was like full of Team Jeremiah stuff. It was just such a time. Again, such a great distraction from my life. Now we have a 3rd season coming out. I have read the books for this as well. This is a book adaptation. I think they're doing a really good job of adapting it and like making it better. But I'm definitely worried if they continue on the trajectory. Like I really didn't like the 3rd book. So I'm kind of hoping they will change things up for the 3rd season and not have it follow the same story, but we'll see. Okay, then we have Heartstopper season 2. I told you guys I was in my teen like romance era, okay? Heartstopper season 2 is so perfect. It's like the perfect teen show. It deals with a lot of queer characters. Again, it's based off graphic novels, which are also really, really good. I would recommend reading them. You'll fly through them. They're really short. But this is another one that's doing a great job adapting the source material and actually like improving upon it, making it even better, as the writer of the graphic novels writes the show as well. But also the cast in the show is just so great. Like the guys who played Nick and Charlie have such great chemistry. It's so adorable to watch their relationship unfold. The side characters are also really great. We got a cool little asexual storyline going on as well, which I appreciate. I'll just be so sad whenever this ends because it's just like, it's so heartwarming. It's so great. Oh my gosh. And then we get to Young Royals, which is probably my #1 obsession that I got from this year. This is another teen drama show, but this time it actually takes place in Sweden. So, you know, it has subtitles, or you can watch it dubbed if you want. I recommend watching it subbed so you can actually like hear the real actor's voice and stuff. And I feel like it's always kind of fun to hear like the Swedish language, and I don't know. I would recommend watching it subbed. I just randomly decided to watch this. I, of course, had heard a little bit about it before, but as soon as I watched the first episode, like, I couldn't stop. I binged the entire first season in one night and the entire second season the next night. And I didn't realize we only had one more season coming. That isn't out yet, and now I'm having to wait in torture waiting for the 3rd and final season, but it is coming out in March, they've announced, so I've marked my calendar. Anyways, okay, so we're following the Prince of Sweden. So he's like 15, 16, whatever. He gets into some trouble, so he gets forced to go to this boarding school. As soon as he gets there, like, he is noticing this guy, Simon. Simon is like the poor kid that is just going to this school because he has like a scholarship or something. Everyone else is very like rich and whatever, but this is the one guy that like lives in town and just comes to school. Anyways, sets his sight on him. That's the romance. But obviously the prince cannot be gay. The Prince of Sweden cannot be gay. So it's that forbidden romance. And then we have some other characters that we focus on, just a couple other ones. You will come to hate some of them, like August and Sarah, who I absolutely hate. And of course, you'll absolutely love some of them, like Wilhelm and Simon. Just such a great show. It's like, so it gets compared to Heartstopper a lot because it does deal with like queer teen characters, but it's a lot more angsty, which I love. I love the angst. So if you want that, watch it. All right, then we have my current watches. I had to put this on the list even though I've only watched one season so far, and that's Ginny and Georgia. After Young Royals, I'm like, I need another good show. Like, what other good teen show is out there? It's this one. Or it's not even fully a teen show. Like, we follow the adults too. We're following a mother-daughter pair mainly. That's Ginny and Georgia. It's like Gilmore Girls, but a little more R-rated, because Georgia had Ginny when she was a teenager and then has just been raising her on her own, and now she does have another son too named Austin. She delves a little bit more in the crime stuff. She has a very dark past, which we are uncovering throughout, and she's done a lot of shady stuff to get to where she is and protect her children and stuff. So we have that, which is very intriguing, and then we also have the daughter Ginny, who is having a lot of those typical teen drama stuff with her friends and romances, and then also grappling with like learning her mom's secrets. And the catalyst is that they move to this new like small town, blah blah blah. Just such an entertaining show. So entertaining. Can't wait to get into season 2. It also films here in Ontario, and I recognize a lot of the actors from Degrassi and stuff, like Canadian actors, so I also think that's cool. Another current watch that I was not expecting to be good was Big Brother's Reindeer Games. As I said, I don't love the US Big Brother that much, but they decided to put this Christmas special on called Reindeer Games. It's going on for 2 weeks. It brought back 9 of their past players who are just playing a bunch of competitions and doing a little bit of strategy to win 100K. And I was like, this doesn't sound that great. It's honestly great. It really is great. They brought back some really entertaining people, a lot of past winners, and people who are really into the game. And they've actually come up with a lot of unique, interesting challenges. It's not just ones that you need to be strong to win. There's a lot of different skill levels that you need, so it makes them more interesting, seeing different people able to win these competitions, not just the strong beefy guys. And as I said, there's strategy and stuff too, so I have really been enjoying this. There's only been 3 episodes so far, and I think there's only going to be 3 more. I actually would recommend this show. All right, so those were my least and favorite TV shows that I watched this year. Definitely let me know if you watched any of these shows or what your favorites from the year were. Also, if you have any recs for me based on my favorites, like any that are giving, you know, Exo Kitty, Heartstopper, Young Royals vibes, I need them. Thank you. All right, thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.